This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. Learning objectives. 1. Identify what Asian regionalism is. 2. Explain the importance of Asian regionalism. 3. Analyze the factors driving Asian regionalism. 4. Differentiate between regionalism and globalization. 5. Examine the benefits and challenges of regionalism. 6. Identify examples of Asian regionalism. 7. Understand the impact of regionalization on globalization. 8. Evaluate how Asian countries address globalization and regionalization.
Asia regionalism is the process of strengthening economic, political, and social cooperation among Asian countries to achieve shared goals. It involved regional agreement, trade bloc, diplomatic partnership, and cultural exchange that promote integration and collective development. Key examples include ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership (RCEP), and initiatives like China's Belt and Road Initiative (BRI). The regionalism helps improve trade, security, and diplomatic ties, while addressing common challenges such as economic development, environmental issues, and geopolitical stability.
Asian regionalism exists because countries in the region share common economic, political, security, and cultural interests that encourage cooperation and integration. It helps promote economic growth through trade agreements like ASEAN and RCEP, ensures regional stability by addressing security concerns, strengthens cultural ties, and enhances infrastructural development. Additionally, Asian nations collaborate to tackle global challenges like climate change, and health crises. Despite differences, regionalism allows Asia to have stronger collective voice in global affairs while fostering peace and prosperity. Several factors contribute to the rise of Asian regionalism. First is economic growth and interdependence. Second is security concerns. Third is cultural and historical connections. Then fourth is geopolitical influence.
Hello sir, I am Cadet Yeso, and my task is to provide examples about regionalism. So before that, let's define regionalism first. So regionalism is a political idea where a specific region within a country is seen as most important. It's tied to a strong sense of local identity and a desire for that region to have more control over its own affairs. This can range from wanting more independence to simply having its interests prioritized. Here are the examples of regionalism. So first, we have American Civil War. The conflict between the industrial North and the agrarian South, where slavery was legal, is a well-known example of sectionalism or regionalism. So how does American Civil War become an example of regionalism? The American Civil War exemplifies regionalism due to the distinct economic, social, and political differences between the North and the South. These differences, particularly concerning slavery, led to conflicting interests and ultimately to war. So the second example is Hainan Island becoming a province. Hainan Island in China gained provincial status in 1988 after demanding more autonomy to develop the area. It's now a special economic zone with distinct economic structures. So how does Hainan Island becoming a province become an example of regionalism? Hainan Island becoming a province in China exemplifies regionalism through its pursuit of greater autonomy for economic development, leading to its designation as a special economic zone with unique economic policies. And lastly, the third and last example is Catalonia's independence movement. So Catalonia, a region in northern Spain, has been trying to become independent from the national government for over a century. So how does this Catalonia's independence movement become an example of regionalism? The Catalan independence movement is an example of regionalism due to a combination of historical, cultural, and economic factors. Separatism in Catalonia can be traced back to the mid-19th century, with regionalist and nationalist movements influenced by romantic ideas.
The advantage of regionalism is that it helps preserve local cultures and traditions, allowing communities to maintain their unique identities. This focus on local culture can strengthen community bonds and pride. Additionally, regionalism can boost local economies by encouraging investment in local businesses and creating jobs tailored to the region's strength. It also allows for better political representation as local leaders can address the specific needs and concerns of their communities. The disadvantage of regionalism, it can create inequalities where some regions receive more resources and attention than others, leading to uneven development. This focus on local interest might also result in isolationism, where regions become less willing to cooperate with others, which can hinder overall progress. Furthermore, regionalism can lead to conflict between different areas, especially if they compete for resources.
Regionalism is influenced by a variety of factors including number 1, geographical factors. Natural boundaries like mountains, rivers, and seas can isolate region leading to distinct cultural, economic, and social development. Number 2, historical and cultural identity. Shared history, language, tradition, and cultural practices can create a sense of belonging and identity with the region. Number 3 is economic disparities and unequal economic development and resource distribution between regions can fuel demand for regional autonomy or special economic status. Number 4, political factors. Political leadership and regional parties may promote regionalism to gain or maintain power by appealing to local identities and issues. Number 5, linguistic and ethnic differences. So language and ethnic identity can strengthen regionalism, especially when minority groups feel underrepresented or marginalized. Number 6, social factors. So social factors is the custom, religious practices, and lifestyle differences can contribute to a strong regional identity. So number 7, administrative and governance issue. So centralized governance without adequate regional representation can lead to a demands for more local autonomy or decentralized power. And lastly, number 8, migration and demographic changes. Influx of migrants from other regions can sometimes create tensions, leading to a stronger assertion of regional identity.
Neo-regionalism is when countries in the same areas work together in a new and more open way. It started after the Cold War and is different from all regionalism, which was more controlled by governments and focused on politics. In a new regionalism, not just government but also businesses, organizations, and people help make connections. It is mostly about trade and economic growth, but it can also include security, culture, and environmental issues. Unlike before, regions do not try to separate from the world. Instead, they want to trade and cooperate with other regions. This kind of teamwork is flexible, meaning countries can join in different ways without strict rules. New regionalism helps countries grow in their economies, solve problems together, and build stronger connection with each other.
Regionalization positively affects globalization by fostering economic growth, strengthening regional cooperation, and enhancing cultural exchange. In the Philippines, several real-life examples illustrate these benefits. First, economic growth and trade expansion. The Philippines is part of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN, a regional bloc that promotes free trade and economic cooperation. Through ASEAN agreements, the country enjoys reduced tariffs and increased trade opportunities with neighbors like Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. Example, the Philippine electronics and semiconductor industry, a major export sector, benefits from ASEAN's regional supply chain. Companies like Texas Instruments and Amcor have manufacturing plants in the country that contribute to global tech production. Second, strengthened regional cooperation. Regionalization leads to improved political and economic stability, making the Philippines more attractive to global investors. Example, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP, which the Philippines joined in 2023, provide access to a broader market by harmonizing trade policies among Asia-Pacific nations, boosting the country's agricultural and industrial exports. Third, cultural exchange and tourism growth. Cultural ties among ASEAN countries encourages tourism and global appreciation of Filipino heritage. Example, the Philippine-Korean cultural exchange has grown due to the ASEAN-Korea Free Trade Agreement and the increasing popularity of K-pop and K-drama in the country. In return, Filipino artists and cuisines are gaining global recognition, enhancing cross-border influence.
So, Asian regionalism negatively affects globalization by prioritizing trade within the region, making it harder for non-Asian countries to compete. For example, the Asian Free Trade Area reduces tariffs among member states but can disadvantage global business outside Asia. Investment restrictions favor local industries, limiting foreign investors. Regulatory differences across Asian nations create challenges for international companies.
What is regionalism in the Philippines? Regionalism in the Philippines refers to the social, culture, political, and economic dynamic that arise from the district, region, and province with the country. It emphasizes the identities, interests, and concern of these regional groups, which often develop to historical, cultural, and geographical differences. The Philippines is made of many islands, and each region has its own unique language, tradition, and local concerns. Historically, regionalism has been both a source of pride and division. On one hand, it allows for celebration of cultural diversity and regional identities. On the other hand, it has sometimes led to tension and competition for resources or political power between regions. Often challenging national unity, regionalism can be seen in the political landscape, where leaders may prioritize the welfare of their own region over the national concern. which has affected the governance of the country at times.
Regionalism focuses on cooperation among countries within a specific region to strengthen economic, political, and cultural ties, protect them local interests from external competition. In contrast, globalization promotes worldwide interconnectedness through trades, technologies, and communication, fostering free market, but sometimes leading to economic inequalities and cultural homogenization. Despite of their differences, regionalism and globalization are interconnected, with regionalism often serving as a foundation for broader global integration.